Hello, and welcome to today's presentation, Understanding Your Client's Emotional Money Behaviors. Here is what you are going to learn. You're going to gain a basic understanding of the role of the subconscious mind and how it affects clients' daily decisions and actions with their money. You're going to learn the definition of childhood money narratives and how they can potentially block your client's financial progress. You're also going to gain an understanding of how to use the power of positive emotions to assist your clients in achieving their financial goals. My name is Christine Lucan. I am known as the Financial Lifeguard. I am a money coach, a speaker, and author of Money is Emotional: Prevent Your Heart from Hijacking Your Wallet. I have been coaching individuals and couples for over 12 years now. And what I have seen is, clients don't usually make decisions about money logically. They make them emotionally. And so I have devoted years of study on this subject and have figured out which tools that we can use to help our clients harness the power of their emotions rather than fighting against them so that they can actually achieve their money goals. And I understand it's not just about what sort of level of financial literacy your clients have, because I was someone who crashed and burned financially myself in my late 20s, despite having an accounting degree. And it was because of a very emotional situation. And so my goal here is really to give you an insight and to pull back the curtain so you can see why your clients are doing the things that they're doing that might seem baffling to you. You give your clients excellent financial information and recommendations, and they don't always take them. And it can be very frustrating. And sometimes we might even think there's something wrong with us in our approach. But the truth of the matter is, we're just not plugging into the power of these emotions. And so that's exactly what you are going to learn today. Let's talk first about money in the subconscious mind. So when we think about our financial results and not being happy with the dollars in the bank account, how much money we have in retirement, how much debt we have, etc. Most of the financial advice out there is going to tell you if you don't like your results financially, you have to change your actions. And a lot of times they just leave it at that, right? If you don't like what you have in your bank account, then do X, Y, and Z, and that's going to fix your problems. And so sometimes your clients can take this advice and apply it for a short period of time and override their emotions. But if we don't deal with these factors that are driving the emotions, then people are always going to be pulled back like a magnet to their old behaviors. And it's so interesting because if we want to permanently change our actions, we actually have to look at the precursor to our actions. So scientists have recently proven that the moment of decision happens in the same part of the brain that processes emotion. And they found out by accident. They were studying a group of stroke patients who were very high functioning, but they had damage just in the part of the brain that processed emotion. So they could hold a job, they didn't really have any physical impairments, but they had a hard time expressing emotion, and they had a hard time interpreting emotion in other people. And while they were studying this group, they took a break for lunch. And, they brought all these people into the room and they had two choices for them. It was, a hamburger and a chicken sandwich. None of the participants could make a decision on what to eat. And that's how they found out, completely by accident, that the moment of decision happens in the same part of the brain that processes emotion. And so if you've ever told your client to leave emotion out of their financial decision making, you're asking them to do something that's impossible. So how do we actually gain control of our emotions? How do they fuel our actions? Well, we have to think about what cause our emotions. And sometimes your clients, or maybe even you've experienced this, it might feel like an emotion comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden you're angry or you're sad. But the truth of the matter is that there's always a precursor to that emotion. And so typically you are thinking about something, or you are saying something to yourself, either in your head or out loud, or somebody else might say something to you that makes you angry or makes you upset. So if I asked you to think about a situation where someone made you mad over the last month, if I asked you to think about it in great detail, you would probably get mad at that person all over again, right? And so sometimes when we rehearse certain situations in our heads, those emotions will come back up. The other thing that can fuel the emotions are early memories about money. And so we'll actually get into those in more depth here in a few minutes. But what I want you to think about is all of the stuff that is going on in the subconscious mind. The thoughts, the words, the early memories about money, those are like your financial blueprint. And that financial blueprint is stored in the subconscious mind. And a lot of financial gurus will tell their followers, if you don't like your results, then just change your actions. But if you don't deal with all of these other factors, it's like handing somebody a blueprint for a ranch house. And it doesn't matter how hard that person works or how fast that person works or how many people they hire to build that house. If their blueprint is for a ranch house, then they're only going to get a ranch house with that blueprint. They're never going to get a two-story. And the only way that they're going to get a two-story is if they go back and they change the blueprint. And the same thing is true with money. You may have clients who say they want the equivalent of that two-story house, but they have that ranch blueprint down in their subconscious. And the interesting thing about your subconscious mind is that it wants you to agree with yourself. And so if there is something deep down inside of you, it's something that you believe at a visceral level down at your subconscious mind, your mind wants you to agree with yourself. And so it is going to look for proof out in the world that your belief is true. And it's also going to filter out anything that doesn't agree with that belief that you hold deep down in your subconscious. They call that the reticular activating system, in case you are curious about that. So let's talk a little bit about the subconscious mind. So there are two parts to our mind, to our brain. We have the conscious brain and the subconscious, or the non-conscious part of our brain. Scientists argue a little bit over the percentage, but most of them agree that at least 95% of our daily decisions and actions are on autopilot, and they're being run by the subconscious mind. And only about 5% of our daily choices are being made by the conscious brain. So it's very important that we understand what is going on beneath the surface. And so some of the things that we're going to talk about are going to help to lower that waterline, so to speak, and expose some of those things that are going on in the subconscious mind. So I want you to listen to what your clients say about money, especially if you hear them repeat certain phrases. If they say things like, you know, it's hard to earn money, or I never have enough money, or I only have just enough money to get by. Those clues, those repeated words, those can be pointers to those programs that might be running in the background in your client's subconscious. And so it's really important to pay attention and listen exactly to what your clients are saying. And I am a big note taker when I am meeting with my clients, and writing down those things that I hear them specifically say about money and about their personal finances. So here's some powerful clients that you can ask your clients. You might ask them, how do you feel about your finances right now? And it's interesting because sometimes their feelings might not necessarily match their financial situation. You might be looking at all of their financial information and their financial plan, and you might be thinking like, this client is on track. They are on track to retire when they want to and to do really well. And yet they might still be expressing that they have fear about not having enough. And so there might be something to that. You might even ask them, was there a time in the past where you didn't feel like you had enough and that made you feel some fear about that? So that might be a clue. You can also ask them, how do you want to feel about money? And so just understanding where your client's emotions are around money can be a very big clue as to what is going on deep down under the surface for them. One thing I love to have my clients do, and I give all of them this assignment, is to write down 10 negative things that they say about money. And they don't necessarily have to do it when they're face to face with you. They can send them to you later. But I just tell my clients, hey, over the next week or so, write down anything negative that you catch yourself thinking or saying about money. Because like I said, your subconscious mind wants you to agree with yourself. So if your clients are saying things like, I never have enough money, then your subconscious mind is saying, okay, we don't have enough money. And it is going to let things in to your client's awareness that agree with that. And it will literally block out things that disagree with it. The great thing is we can actually reprogram our subconscious. So what you have to understand is that the subconscious mind is like a filing cabinet, or you could think of it like a library. And all of those files that were written, a lot of them happened far in the past. But when certain situations come up, if the only files that you have are negative, those are the files that your subconscious system is going to be operating out of. And so we can actually harness the power of our conscious brain to reprogram and overwrite these negative thoughts. And so, I love helping my clients to write these new positive money mantras, or you might have heard of affirmations. So whatever you call them, it's all the same thing. It's just we are overwriting those negative self talk